All right, today we are going to look at all of the different types of bureaucratic agencies. This is a pretty simple thing to do. We need to be able to categorize these agencies. There's 4 different types that we have to learn, so it is pretty simple. But what we'll realize is that almost everything is a bureaucratic agency of the government. Here we see in the background that is the Environmental Protection Agency building. So we know something like the EPA is the bureaucracy. It's a bureaucratic organization that regulates the environment. And then look at that, a bunch of mail trucks. So there they are providing services to citizens, delivering the mail, also a part of the federal bureaucracy. All right, our goal today, we want to be able to describe the different types of bureaucratic agencies. So our objective, we're going to describe bureaucratic agencies so that we can categorize different types of government agencies. Pretty simple task today, but we need to be able to put these agencies into groups because we will be asked something like, give an example of a regulatory agency doing this, or give an example of a government corporation doing something. So we want to be able to categorize these different type of agencies so that we'll be able to answer questions correctly. And the big question we're trying to ask today is, what types of agencies exist? All right, the first thing we need to do today, we need to be able to tell the difference between staff agencies and line agencies. Every single bureaucratic agency is going to fit into one of these two groups, and we'll identify them, categorize them based on their goals. So we'll be looking at some different agencies here. What we see here, we see the post office. We see some logos from the National Security Agency. That's an agency that works for the president. The Federal Election Commission is an agency that works for you. Make sure that your elections are safe. So that's the kind of difference that we're going to be looking for in these two types of agencies. All right, first up is a staff agency. So every agency that we're going to look at, we're either going to be able to call it a staff agency or a line agency. Later, we're going to put these into different groups, but a staff agency is any bureaucratic agency that exists to assist the president. So that means that their goal here is to produce work that benefits primarily the president. Like, all that they do ends up helping you too. Like the National Security Agency, the National Security Council, they do keep you safe, but their primary goal is to help the president make decisions. So these agencies are going to have major roles in helping the president develop policy, helping the president make decisions, helping the president come up with ideas for all sorts of stuff. So because these are staff agencies and they work for the president of the United States primarily, most of the time, these don't have to be approved by the Senate. Like, their leadership doesn't have to be approved by the Senate because they exist to help the president make decisions. So they exist to do what the president wants. And so Congress doesn't really need input on that. The president should be able to make decisions and, get advice from people that they choose with their own priorities in mind and all that. So a couple of examples of staff agencies. These are things that you know of because we talked about them a few days ago when we were talking about, those parts of the bureaucracy that help the president do their day-to-day job. So the Office of Management and Budget, that's an agency that you know their job is to make the budget for the president. That doesn't really help you. That is a job that serves the president of the United States. So same would be true of the Council of Economic Advisors, the National Security Council. Those are 3 big ones that we know. You guys also know the cabinet by now. And so the cabinet, is a team of advisors or whatever. They're bureaucracy because none of them are elected. They serve, they're serving the president, helping them come up with policy and all that kind of stuff. So these are the types of agencies that exist to assist the president with their job. So these are what we call staff agencies. These kinds of things are going to change dramatically from one president to another because they exist to serve the president in office. The other type of agency is a line agency. Now, a line agency has their own independent goals and their own jobs that they have to perform. Look at our example there. It's a little mail truck. The mail has nothing to do with a Republican president or a Democratic president. It is a nonpartisan service. That's the kind of thing we want to associate with a line agency. The job of line agencies is to carry out the policy. And so the work that they do mainly benefits you instead of benefiting the president. What the EPA does helps you breathe and have clean water. What the FCC does is keep your television and radio stations free from bad language and bad content and things like that. The Federal Election Commission makes elections fair for you. So Their work benefits you, the citizen, primarily. Now, we're going to talk about a bunch of different types of these, but one of the main things about them is we're going to say that these are mostly independent from the president and Congress. And that means that the president and Congress don't have a lot of control over what they do from day to day. So since their job is independent and their job is the same all the time, think about the mail. Like, there are almost no changes to the mail between President Trump and President Obama and President Bush and President Clinton. We just want mail. And so those are independent goals, and that means that the president and Congress not really going to be able to interfere with them from day to day. But they will, since these are things that serve you. These are going to be the kind of appointments that have to be approved by the Senate, because the Congress will want to have some input, since these are going to be agencies that provide a service to you as well. So here's just some examples of line agencies. We'll go through tons of these, but this kind of pretty obvious when we think about having independent goals. So the U.S. Postal Service, they deliver mail. Has nothing to do with partisan goals of the president. NASA, they explore space, same thing. Nothing to do with if a president's Democrat, Republican, whatever their ideological goals are. The Federal Reserve, they control the money supply in the United States. They control the banking system. So they're also independent of the president and Congress. The Center for Disease Control, they are providing a service to you, helping to spread, to limit the spread of disease regardless of which president is in charge. So based on their goals here, we're able to tell if an agency is a staff agency or a line agency. Are they assisting you, or are they assisting the president? All right, there we go. That's the first thing we need to break down today. We need to be able to classify whether or not every agency that we're going to come across is a staff agency or a line agency. We know if it's a staff agency, it is existing to help the president do their job. If it is a line agency, it is independent and it is existing to help you. It is delivering a service of some kind from the government to you, the citizen.